To me, here things are a little tricky because you live in a dualistic reality where both perspectives are actually true. So I'll give you an example. The core wound of the universe is betrayal. The masculine betraying the feminine. Because when God created the universe, God created it from itself. God is a blob of energy. It looked like a gray blob to me. And when it showed me how it created the universe, it took from itself a part of itself, and then it split into two, the right hand of God and the left hand of God. From there, these two started to create identities, labels, titles, father, mother. Then they started to think. Then they started to create belief systems. Then they started to create systems. And then you created the material plane, which is the end of the manifestation cycle, which is the end of the cycle, which is the end of it, which is where you are, which is why you're here. You are the conscious mind driving the energy in the subconscious and the superconscious. The core wound was when these two, who were a little boy and a little girl just playing with God, woohoo, yay, having fun, in heaven, everything's great. And then one of them decided, you know what? I'm done with this. I want to go out on my own. I'm going to do it my way, and I want to be God. I don't want this God over me. I want to be God. And so that's where the whole universe, the whole system went awry. That's why there's all these little simulations all over the place trying to fix this. No one has been able to undo it because it's so deeply rooted into everything. Look at what you live in. You live in a villain and good guy, bad guy, good guy. That's it's you versus me. It's either you or me. That's the system. And then it gets really selfish. And then it gets to the point where there's a complete and total lack of love, understanding, empathy, and you get into more animalistic, primal survival mode. That's the lowest point here. Because no one has ever been able to undo that betrayal. But then the other thing is that did that person really betray you? Did they really hurt you? Or is it all just in your mind and it's a movie and it's a game? And that perspective is true too. The minute you wake up and you look at all the people in your life and you realize, they call it the life review, but if you can do the life review before you die or before you go through an ego death, and then you're still here in the physical form and you're still doing work here, then you can solve a lot of problems for a lot of people, including yourself and your lineage. But the truth is that every single individual that was in my life, I handpicked them. I knew exactly what I was getting into beforehand. I remember having a vision with God and going, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to do that again. I know what happens to me. It's the same cycle every time. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to try to help people. I'm going to get bombarded with all the negativity. I'm going to get conditioned, programmed, hurt, beat, molested, raped, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go through all of that yet again. And then I'm going to die. That's been my cycle repeatedly for eons, for generations. Like, I don't want to do it again. But then God said, you know what? This time it's going to be different. I need you to go. And there was a certain point in my life where the predestined, the pre-written was gone. And it was blank after that. And I'm finally hitting that blank part and understanding why I'm hitting that blank part. Because the twin flame which is where all this problems happened at that level. We were reincarnated into bodies, right? Put into bodies to undo that dynamic, that predator-prey, that narcissist empath. That's the dynamic. Where the narcissist uses tactics like manipulation, energy manipulation, mind control. They use all these different tactics to embed themselves into the empath and then siphon off the empath's energy and all that's good in that empath. All their abilities, their psychic abilities, all of that. That's why you don't have them, is because you're still tied to a narcissist. This narcissist, now that he is in, and this is my dynamic, okay? I'm not saying this is true for everybody. It could be reversed. So don't hate me in the comments. Just saying. So anyway, this narcissist who was, for me, my ex-husband, this was the dynamic that him and I went through. He was he admitted to me at this time when I talked to him again, that he's still a sociopath. He cut off all of his emotions. All of them. He feels nothing. He said it was all fake. He never loved me. He was only using me. If to him the means justified the end. The ends justified the means. And he was willing to do whatever it took to maintain his utopia, as well as create what he wanted, his vision, his version of this reality, which was hell, which was, he was God. Everyone bowed to him. To me, my vision is the complete total opposite. It's heaven. And so therefore, when I came into this body, when he came into his body, he knew exactly who I was. He tracked me down. He told me he tracked me down purposely and played the role of, I'm your savior. I'm going to help you. I know that you're broken. I know that you've been hurt and wounded and you have all this trauma in you, but I'm going to help you. And instead of being that person that had my back, he stabbed me in the back and literally drained me to the point of almost death and took over my identity, my essence, my power. It took me a long time to unravel from this. Because yes, on one point, on one perspective, in the bigger perspective, yeah, he did hurt me. Yeah, it was his choice to do what he did. From God's perspective, that's an interesting story. From my perspective, that was bullshit. That was real bullshit what I went to. And the hurt and the pain that you experience here in the material plane sucks. And God, until you come down here and you experience this for yourself firsthand, don't you tell me what to do. Don't you tell me anything or what I went through. On the flip side of that, I was reincarnated to understand that he was placed into my life so that it could undo that dynamic. I had to go through hell to get to heaven. Boy, did I go through hell. And so did you. The difference this time, is that old dynamic of only having two, kind of like your two-party system here in the U.S. How do you like just having two, a right or a left? Ooh, you get to pick one or the other. Me versus you. That's it. The difference is now there's choice. Free will choice. You are moving into what you call your new earth, which is free will choice. That's where my life ended. That predestined. Now I will work in my God energy and in every moment create from that conscious aware perspective. And I choose my next partner, not one that was chosen for me. I choose one that's aligned with my vision, my thoughts, my ideas, my beliefs, my values, not one that was predestined for me. That's the shift that has happened. So yeah, on one hand, absolutely 100% did you create everything in your life. All of it, even when you were a child. All of the traumas you went through. All of the disgusting energies you had to deal with. You had to. Because you had to change this inside. Because he ripped out my self-love, my self-identity, and made my ego, which is my self-identity here, one of hate. Because he hated me. But when I got to the core of me, I realized that's not actually true. That I am pure love. And that I am a child of God. And I started to focus on that aspect of me. And then I started to unwind everything and heal and clear it out of my energy field. And it finally ended 3 days ago when I called him. We spoke for 3 hours and he confirmed a lot of things that I knew intuitively, but he confirmed them for me verbally. He doesn't know a lot of things that I know, but what I do know is that it's over. That old dynamic is done. And it's not that I won. This wasn't a winning, because winning, it would have been me retaliating. For everything that that man did to me, he expected for me to retaliate. And I said, no, I'm not you. I'm going to help you as much as I can, but you're responsible for yourself. And then I'm going to return to you everything that you did to me so that you understand and you feel it. So that you shift and change. Because that wasn't my baggage to carry, that was yours. Which is why he shut off his emotions, because he realizes how much damage that he did, not just to me, but many, many others. And you probably have the same or a similar setup. That's the difference. And that is exactly what is going to set you free. And you created this to get out of it because you're the problem and the solution. Understand that. You are the answer. You're it. This is going to be a totally different way of being. I don't hate that man. I don't love him either. I'm not in love with him, but I do love him. And I want the best for him. That will never be with me. And I told him that. And I let him go. And the minute I let him go with love, with grace, and with God, it cleared out of my energy field. It was over. That cycle, that repetitive cycle that I've been talking about for over a year now on this channel is over. And I am pulling in a better suited masculine for myself. I'm no longer playing. There's two sides of the mirror game. The mirror game is you see a reflection of you, meaning it's you. The other is I'm seeing a reflection, but it's the opposite of me. You ever looked in a mirror and the stuff that's on you is opposite? So there's two ways to play the mirror game. The negative narcissistic energy people are going to play that game where they think they are you. That's the negative mirror. You got to come out of that. And you got to shift your focus over to the positive mirror and start creating your reality from that perspective. This is your life. You are the conscious mind that moves the energy, that's shifting and changing all of this. You're that powerful. So keep doing the work. I'm really proud of you. And thank you so much for all your lovely comments and for supporting me. And I support you. And if you need anything, let me know. I'm happy to be of assistance. All right. Have a great day.